Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and I am going to review The Man Who Invented Christmas. The Man Who Invented Christmas tells the magical journey that led us to the creation of Ebenezer Scrooge, Tiny Tim, and other classic characters from A Christmas Carol. Directed by Bharat Nalluri, the film shows how Charles Dickens mixed real-life inspirations with his vivid imagination to conjure up unforgettable characters in a timeless tale, forever changing the holiday season into the celebration we know today. This is rated PG, a 2018 film, runs an hour and 45 minutes. It stars Christopher Plummer and Dan Stevens as the two main characters. So, the first thing I'll say about this is that if you don't know what A Christmas Carol is, find out. And then watch this movie. But probably should see A Christmas Carol movie first. And then watch this movie. Read a book, watch the original Christmas Carol, and then watch this. This is the inspiration behind the classic A Christmas Carol. My family, well, we used to, goes to see A Christmas Carol at one of the bigger theaters in my town every year. It's a classic. It's a tradition. And in this town that I live in, it's a very, very big tradition. I used to know the person that played Ebenezer Scrooge every year, and he's a little too old now, but the guy that's been Ebenezer Scrooge has probably been about 10 years now that he's been Ebenezer Scrooge every single year. Most families know this story, and most people know that Charles Dickens wrote it, and this is just the inspiration behind it, the story of how it came to be, the process that the writer had to go through, and the kind of hiccups that he came along with the way, and kind of the situation and the struggles that he had to deal with his family at the time. So that's just the backstory, a little bit of explanation. Hopefully everybody knows what A Christmas Carol is so I can talk about this vividly, okay? The big thing that movies like this do, for anybody who regularly watches my reviews, I just saw Goodbye Christopher Robin. That is the story of the inspiration behind the whole Winnie the Pooh world and how that came to be. And this is the inspiration behind A Christmas Carol. And so I'm kind of watching two movies of these kind of movies lately. And they're both kind of the same, where they take a little while to explain the situation and give some backstory and have some credible plot along with, make an actual movie, have an actual story. This one, less than Goodbye Christopher Robin. It had fun introducing the characters and the names that we know, but it wasn't as much fun as some other ways of doing it, but it was still fun. So the first one that kind of comes up is the one that we know, his friend. I would say that the original, what we get told in this movie, it's not all what we kind of know today, and some facts here and there were kind of off. So I wonder if they could have gone through the process of explaining how he came across the finished product. It only has so much time in the movie, So that leads me to my next point, is that there's a lot going on in this movie. Like I said, they try to have an actual plot. There's too much to explain between a father-son relationship, a marriage that's struggling because of finances, a guy who is battling his own demons, even though he's a success, he still treats people like crap because he was always treated like crap when he was younger because he had a unfortunate childhood, and then things change for the better, and then he still is battling those demons, and so that's kind of how he built his success, is off his experience. It's a loaded plot line, and so for an hour 45 minutes it's not enough time to explain what all is going on. There's way too much to explain. So that would be my only kind of criticism. It's not really criticism because it's so good in providing us that much substantial material. It just doesn't have, it just can't be a 3 hour movie. You know what I mean? It can't be 3 hours to explain every single thing that's happening, but I kind of would have appreciated it. So, other than that, sorry. How do I say this? It's hard to understand. I don't mean hard to understand in the way that you're watching a Chinese movie in English subtitles and you're not able to get into the backstory. I mean it's hard to understand in the way that it's in an old setting where people did things a certain way, and it's hard to understand in the way that people have to act like they have no idea what is going on. We are led to believe that Christmas is not that big of a holiday. Like, who can honestly comprehend that? You're watching a movie about it where people are convinced that Christmas is not that big a deal. Any book written about Christmas isn't going to sell. Anybody buying anything for anybody isn't going to, it's just a waste of time and money because people didn't really have that much money at all. And then at sort of towards near the end of the movie, they talk about the Tannenbaum and how that kind of got started, and rich people are the only ones to have it at first. It really blows the mind, And I like movies that challenge us that way. It just is a little bit over our heads. I just was kind of sitting there going, okay, I'm 2018 middle class, and I'm having to listen to 1843 really, really upper class. And he's having problems, and I can't really feel sorry for him. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave that. Because I just don't know how to react to people that are rich and are complaining. And I think that's why a lot of people are having problems with Trump right now and nowadays. And I think that's probably why people were kind of messed the wrong way with Dickens back in the day. He knew he was better than everybody else. He knew he had these stories in him and that they came out. This isn't a story about somebody who wasn't popular in his time and then he went on to be one of the best-selling authors of all time. He was popular back then. Everybody knew what a genius he was. So, the last note I just had was that it's interesting, but it's not interesting in the way that you think it's going to be. I'd like for somebody to watch this movie and then come back and comment on this video. Do you think it was interesting enough? Like, it takes so long for one thing to happen. I won't give it away what it is, but it takes so long for it to happen that we're all just kind of wondering why it didn't release it earlier. Because it's going to be one of those kind of movies where you know what's coming, I'm sorry to say, but it's about a movie that's one of the most popular things of all time, and they're taking an hour and a half to release a detail that we know is coming. And you struggle with that along the way. And maybe that's what hurts it. But it's interesting enough otherwise, and the characters are so good. And I'm going to say this. as kind of my closing statement. For about 15 good minutes, 3/4 of the way through or so, to the end, we'll just say to the end, the acting is phenomenal. I'm not even joking about it. It's phenomenal. The way that the two gentlemen that are stars of this movie react and play along with each other with the lines that they have, phenomenal. Don't even question it. Towards the end of this movie, people get really real, and they are into it, and they are selling it hard. So appreciate this movie. Appreciate what it's about. It's about treating people right. It's about caring for people who need our help and our charity, and for humans to act right. Because if you don't, then you're probably going to end this life alone. That's the main message. And then the last thing I'll just throw in as a tidbit, because I want one thing to be kind of a surprise. There's one character in this movie that delivers, and it's amazing how much she delivers. I don't know who she is, and she's probably going to be a star, and I'm hoping I can remember her for the future, because if this movie did anything for her career, it's going to shoot her right to the top. She was amazing. My name is Danny. This is my review for The Man Who Invented Christmas. I'm going to give it a B. It's hard to watch movies like this because we know it's coming, and we know what it's about, and we know the outcome. And the thing they release at the end, we pretty much know. But the acting is just tremendous, and the story is right, and the message is right. I hope you guys appreciate it, and I hope you give it a chance. And I hope you give my other movie reviews a chance. This is number 96 for anybody who's keeping count. I have 4 more to go until my 100th review of all time on YouTube. Very exciting stuff, and I might change up the format, starting with 101. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like anything about me, subscribe to my channel and enjoy movies. Thanks a lot.